All right, the topic of today's video is AI. Has it gone too far? Well, we're going to talk about that right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. And the video footage that you're watching is actually a video that I put out in the springtime when we were doing field work. And parts of this video, it was recently made aware to me, were ripped off and used in somebody else's video. Now, normally I wouldn't care about that so much. I use clips and stuff to, make my videos better here and there of movies and things, different things all the time. So that's not the biggest problem I have with it. The problem I have is that the video that it was used in is way full of misinformation. And so we need to do something about that, I think. I just want to tell you about it. I'm not going to tell you what the video is that this is used in, because every time you give the guy a view, you're basically supporting him. And I kind of feel like there's a lot of stolen footage in this video from other channels, so they'll probably report him and it will go down. But we'll talk about that part more in a minute. I just want to talk about AI. And if you're a farmer, when you hear AI, you're probably thinking about artificial insemination. But that's not what it is. Artificial intelligence is what we're talking about with AI. It's the big rage in the news these days. And basically, it's computers just coming up with things on their own, without human intervention so much. Like, for example, you give it a topic and then it produces content or something based on that. And when AI first came out, it was a cute little thing and it was a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, that Oliver guy and I had some fun sending pictures back and forth. He found a website where you could, you type in something and then it generates a picture, and the pictures were absurd, and we were having a lot of fun laughing about it. For example, here's a picture that it generated when I typed in a moron pulling on a donkey. Something's not right there. At least they did kind of put a rope around the front of the donkey, but obviously that's not right. And likewise, you say, okay, a redneck holding an eggplant. And you come up with this. That is not a real person. That is AI-generated image. And there's a lot of stuff like that you see on the internet now where people have, weird characteristics, or there's extra arms or hands, or a lot of times the faces aren't correct. And so I guess my point is it's getting harder to distinguish sometimes images that maybe aren't real versus the things that are, if you don't know anything about what you're talking about on a certain subject. And I've seen lots of pictures of tractors that go along with this. For example, the thumbnail that I used in this video is generated by YouTube's AI on a John Deere 43 corn sheller. It decided that my video on that was popular, so I should make more videos like it, and it was going to help me. And it generated this image, which is totally absurd. It's like, what is that thing? It's like half of a front end from something, and it looks like part of an engine on a frame with a seat, and an ear of corn on the front. That is absurd. That is nothing. But it took the words John Deere 43 corn sheller, and this is what artificial intelligence came up with. Likewise, another thumbnail it gave me was this one, which is like, I don't know, ears of corn going through a bunch of gears and bleeding. I have no idea what this is supposed to be, or how that has to do with John Deere corn sheller, So some of them like that are pretty obviously nonsense. And there's more and more topics that we can talk about like that. I'll show you. It gave me a bunch of suggestions of things I could do to make more interesting videos, that people would want to watch. And it's just ridiculous. Like, I'll put this screenshot in. The first one, restoring the neglected John Deere B. That's not a John Deere B. That's not even a real tractor. That's something put together from nonsense. The next one, Oliver 77 Tractor's Journey from Broken to Running. Well, it kind of looks like an 8-in Ford with a cab on it, but it's not that either. It's just nonsense. Comparing the Oliver 77 and the John Deere 1020. Have a gander at that one. What are those two things? An abomination is what they are. They're nothing. Tractor Tales, History of Oliver Row Crop Tractors. Who knows what that is? It's all artificially generated. DIY tractor restoration tips and tricks. Yeah, I mean, the nonsense just goes on and on. I got a kick out of this one. I'll put up this next page. When I refreshed it, I like winter tractor work, shelling corn in the cold. Is that how people think shelling corn works? You pull a disc behind the tractor, which has extra wheels, and then you just auger the corn straight on the ground? I don't think that's how it goes. Restoring a 1950s grain drill? Well, that's an interesting catch of things, is it not? I don't think that is something, that's what it has done. It's just taken pieces of what it sees, like my titles or whatever, and it generated things. It saw that those videos on certain topics had higher views, and now it's trying to persuade me to make more videos about similar topics. But, I mean, that's not anywhere close to anything that makes any sense at all. And it's kind of pathetic. Quick search on the internet. Here's one that somebody made out there that said, it told AI, show me typical farmall tractor owners. Well, I don't know what that is, but yeah. So anyway, the point of the story. Well, this video on the 1755 of mine is out there, and we took the 285 field cultivator out there, and we went to, work up that little wet corner and whatever, and it's a nice little video getting to play with that tractor just fine. Well, somebody has used some type of AI program that they were able to type in a topic that something suggested to them like this that they thought would get a lot of views, and then it obviously pulled from footage all over the internet to make the videos. And the video was on like the worst tractors of all time, and it picked the Oliver 1755 to be on that list. And I think that's bizarre, not because I mean, whatever, that's your opinion if you think it's awful, but if you look at all the tractors they made, the 1755 is one of the good ones, I think. You hardly ever see a 1755 with a hole in the block, but you saw a lot of 1855s with the hole in the block and some 1955s. A lot of those tractors that had the turbo, people turned up and they finally failed, not to mention two-piece wrist pin bushings and the wrong rod bolts for that application. Basically, they would fail. And, I mean, a lot of times I would say pushing it to its limit was what failed it or made it fail. But if you had to give me a list of things to pick from, I would not have picked the 1755 to be the tractor on the list. Now, I care about this only because of how much misinformation is in that other video. And the thing is, the kind of person that's going to click on this video to watch it, that this other person made, is going to be curious about tractors and different things, and they're going to watch this and they're going to believe everything this person says because it's probably going to get a bunch of views. It's already got almost 10,000 views, 9,600 views, and this is the type of video. I agree. The title is catchy, and they made a catchy thumbnail with something stuck in the mud, and that's going to get people to click on it. And they're going to listen to this and believe everything they see. And I don't know. It's just not accurate. And a lot of people in the comments also seem to think the same thing about the different brands of tractors. I mean, it's just funny. It's funny how they picked it. Like I said, what's the worst tractor is your opinion, so I'm not arguing that. I'm just arguing the misinformation. So I'm going to see about here. I'm not sure what I want to do. If I really want to show you, I'd like you to hear the audio of this person or of this video maybe perhaps. But see, then it's probably going to copyright me, so I'm not going to be able to do. But I can maybe show some stills and stuff and explain. But it goes on and talks about the Oliver 1755 being introduced in the 1970s as part of Oliver's 55 series lineup with its robust appearance and signature green paint and large frame. And it was expected to be a durable machine capable of handling various farming needs. It was equipped with a Waukesha 6-cylinder engine with 5.9-liter displacement, which is not exactly accurate, producing around 86 horsepower, an impressive figure for its time. The 6 forward gears and 2 reverse gears combined with the power boost drive system. Yeah, that's not a power boost drive system. The hydraulic shift was way different than the power booster. And it just goes on and on like this. It was designed to enhance pulling power and let's see, what else? They thought that it would be a great choice for farmers. However, reality proved otherwise. The 1755 quickly gained a reputation as one of the most problematic tractors in the company's history due to numerous mechanical problems. No, I disagree with that. As far as 1755s go, I would not say that they were plagued with a lot of problems compared to like the 1855. That's not true. And then it goes on and it talks about the Waukesha engine was poorly designed and lacked durability, making it highly prone to overheating during extended operation. The cooling system was too weak to maintain a stable engine temperature, leading to frequent breakdowns. Additionally, the lubrication system was ineffective, causing the engine to wear out. I don't think so. I think that that's a bunch of malarkey. And like I said, if they had put in the 1855, I would agree that it was maybe on the worst list of the ones they made, but I can't say that either because I know of lots of them around here that were 10,000-hour tractors with no problem. So I don't know. The one thing I thought was bizarre and I really think is misinformation, they have this whole section where they go harping on the transmission and says that it's a weak point, despite featuring the power boost drive. No, it was, and I don't agree with that either. That transmission in those tractors was pretty doggone durable, really. I mean, they use them in pulling tractors, and they handle way more horsepower than they put out farming. But it's talking about how it wasn't designed to handle heavy loads, and it was prone to jamming or failing under high-intensity work. I don't agree with that. I mean, so, say what you want, and like I said, a lot of this is somebody's opinion, and I don't want to sound like I'm just whining and complaining, but the fact that they're using other people's footage to prove their lies is not something that I go for. I mean, somebody's going to watch that, and they're going to think that that's the truth, or they're also going to think that these people, these creators that made the original footage agree with this maybe, and I don't agree with this at all. Another thing is, essentially, the way they did it, he's going to make money off of footage that he didn't create, and it's going to be, I don't know. I mean, you don't even get the benefit of like linking the original creators in so that people watching the video, if they want to learn more, can go to the person's channel and find out something. But that's a secondary problem to me. Like I said, I really don't care as much about, making money off of whatever, because he used like 20 seconds of my footage. So that's not that much money in the grand scheme of things. It's just that the misinformation in this video is ridiculous because it was made by a computer, not even a real person probably. He typed in something he wanted, and it searched YouTube till it found a certain amount of videos and then was able to pull from different things and make a video on the topic that he did. So who knows how it decided that these were the worst tractors, because I don't know. Like the one right after the 1755 is the 1105 Massey Ferguson, and I don't know that those were a problem. I had a neighbor that had one, and they still have it, and they farmed with it as their main tractor, and it has a 6354 Perkins, which is a pretty good motor. And it's bizarre to me. They put the Ford Golden Jubilee on that list. I thought that was a pretty good tractor too. I own one, and we had very little problems with it. I mean, it's bizarre how this artificial intelligence comes up with this. But I guess the thing that really gets me is when people put stuff on the internet that's going to mislead people and they don't really care, you know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't go to the internet to believe anything, but I just kind of feel like the nice thing about YouTube is people can go to learn about topics, different things that are going on. And when you watch these things like this, it's not accurate, and I think that people are going to take it for what it as truth. I see that a lot. People watch videos where people just say stuff, and they take it as 100% truth, and the videos get millions of views sometimes, and people just think that person is an expert on every subject, and that's not how it is. But I don't know. Maybe this isn't something that bothers anybody else, but it just kind of bothers me that there's that much stuff out there and it's only getting worse. You know, like I said, when we started with that AI and we were joking around with those pictures and things, that was one thing. It was cute, you know, fun thing to do back and forth. But I read here a while back that AI is actually inbreeding, essentially. There are so many made-up images on the internet now that AI is pulling from made-up images to generate new images, and it's getting really warped and far out there. Like it's not getting better. I think they thought that it was just going to keep getting better and better and better and better, and it's not doing that thing. It's turning into just a mess. I mean, it's not getting to be brilliant art, I guess is what I'm saying. It's getting to be more like society devolving, which is a problem in itself. But anyway, if you see this video floating around out there with all this made up stuff, don't take it as the gospel truth. Do more research, which you should do anyway on any topic. Don't believe what you see on the internet. Check it with somebody else. But based on a lot of the comments and stuff I've read, sometimes it's obvious that there are people out there who just take the first thing they see at face value without doing any research or even watching 5 minutes before to know what you just said. They just take one comment and they run with it and think that they're right and you're wrong. But anyway, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that this was worth talking about, but you do see a lot of stuff out there, and I have seen people that are fooled by some of the stuff. On Facebook, they're fooled by the images that are obviously made up, and I think this is a problem that's just going to keep getting worse. And I don't know what the solution is, but I guess just be aware. Don't believe everything you see. Don't believe somebody's opinion. Do more research, you know. I'm no expert. Sometimes I think people, they think you are because you're on YouTube, so you must be an expert. I'm not an expert on almost anything. I'm just a regular person filming the stuff that I do. And so you should always research every topic to make sure that what you've learned is accurate. But these videos that are created by AI with these catchy titles to try to lure you in are obvious nonsense. And so don't be spouting off the facts you learned from one of those at, you know, some tractor show, because you'll probably get laughed at. I mean, they're not accurate. So do careful research if you want to learn. I know a lot of times people are afraid to ask questions on, especially, I don't know, I found that like with tractors and mechanic work over the years as a kid, you almost felt like if you tried to ask somebody, they'd laugh at you because you didn't know the answer. And so I think there is a lot of that goes on. And I'm afraid that's not going to be fixed by watching these YouTube videos that somebody made up like that, because you're going to look worse if you go spouting off something that's nonsense versus if you just would ask, why is this, or what is this? I don't know. A lot of this, I guess, is just my opinion, so what does it matter? But be aware that there is a bunch of nonsense on the internet that's not true. There is people using footage that they didn't generate themselves, and that's unfortunate, but I mean, it happens all the time, and that's not the biggest problem, but the misinformation is the big problem that I have something with, purposely creating something that's not true just to try to get views or make money. That's kind of a sad way to go about it, but to each his own. Do whatever you want, the world goes around no matter what happens. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out with the copyright. YouTube does have a copyright tool where it will recognize when other people use your footage, but this person put an audio track over it, and they put a watermark in it, and I have a feeling that is enough to fool the thing where it's not going to show up on my list as somebody used my footage. And so it's interesting to see how that plays out. And I only care about that because it kind of ticks me off that when I made that video where I was playing Christmas songs, they flagged me for copyright even though I was using songs in the public domain and I was playing them myself. But they copyrighted me on that, and I didn't make any money off that video really, even though all that stuff was not copyright material. They shouldn't have been allowed to do that to me, but they did. And now here's somebody using my stuff that I made in their video, and he's going to probably get away with it and make money because it's about an act of Congress to get a copyright thing started on YouTube. I mean, yeah, you have to sign your soul away to make it happen, and it's not worth it. I mean, 20 seconds of footage, no big deal, but like I said, it's ironic that they seem to favor certain things over others. And even when you try to do it the right way, you're still the loser. So, yeah. Well, not to end on a negative note, but that's just what was on my mind when somebody brought this to my attention. So I thought it was neat. And consequently, it gave me a chance to try out my new wireless microphone. And I'm going to try to figure out if that's worth using in videos to try to make it better. We'll have to see how this audio quality turns out. I think that it's a little bit better than like if I do voiceovers just using the iPad audio. I think my voice sounds distorted when I do that. So we'll see how this sounds, and I'm sure I'll have a lot of fooling with it and playing with it, but if I get a new camera, I'm supposed to be able to make this connect to it wirelessly, and then I won't have to do any special editing, and that's kind of what I'm after. I think that'll be nice for you, like if I turn my back from the camera or whatever, but I don't know. It'll just be interesting to see how this works, and this was a good way for me to test this by making this video because it was on my mind, and yeah. So let me know in the comments what you think about any of what I just talked about, whether it's no big deal and it doesn't matter, or whether we should all just make nonsense images and put them on the internet of tractors and paint them all different colors, or, whatever. Tell me how you like this microphone, if it helps or doesn't help. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.